Right. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. What's up, IG? What's up, YouTube? I'm streaming from both devices, so I don't like that clarity. Let's see. All right, that's cool. Let me fix this. All right, there you go. What's up, family? I must say, I told y'all we was going to 2 shows a week this year. And we know that, man, the end of last year and the beginning of this year has been interesting, to say the least. But we here. So for those who don't know, welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations. I'm your host, Mark D. And we're going to get into it tonight. I'm making sure everything is good. All right, so we're good. All right, so tonight's topic of conversation, real quick, for those who don't know, on Tuesday evenings, I go live on Facebook. But this year, like I said, I decided to start on Friday nights going live on YouTube, and every now and again, when I'm live on YouTube, you know, of course, I'll tap into IG as well. But family, we got a lot to talk about. Tonight's topic of conversation is what has what tangibles have blacks gotten for our vote? And I know a lot of black people that I've spoken with, a lot of them voted only to get 45 out of office with no black agenda whatsoever. They don't even, we as a collective group, we didn't have no set agenda in place. A lot of organizations was all over the place and everything, you know, but now you have a lot of black officials, a lot of black voters talking about how now that Biden and Kamala is in office, now we can get the things that we want. The main reason for voting this election year, was to get 45 out of the office. And one of the things that I don't understand is that without an agenda, we know that when Obama was in office, the LGBTQ plus community, they had an agenda. Obama helped facilitate that agenda being passed. And we know that when it came to the feminist groups and the feminist movement, there have been presidents, probably past 4 or 5 presidents that helped their agendas get passed and continue to help their agenda get passed. Now, my biggest issue is, ever since legally blacks, foundational black Americans, ADOS, which is American Descendants of Slave, whatever you want to call yourself, just as a generic term this evening, we're just going to use blacks. I myself consider myself foundational black American. My ancestors are aboriginals to this land. There you go. Now, what the problem is that without an agenda, without a solidified agenda, and we know that Ice Cube came up with a proposal, and we know that 45 stole some of his key talking points in order to try to get himself reelected. But what's done is done, and it can't be reversed. My question is, what are we going to do now? we see that, as always, I always bring questions to the family, because we really have to have these type of conversations. And for those who don't know, I do use profanity at times. So if you're uncomfortable with that, just go ahead and please kindly excuse yourself, and, no harm, no foul. But as I was saying, one of the issues that I have is that without an agenda, we are at the mercies of this corrupt system. And most of us have acknowledged that this is a corrupt, unjust system ran by white supremacists. Now, my beliefs and my stance is that regardless if it is the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, they're both parts of a two-headed snake. Same wings on the same bird. Whether you're left, right, liberal, conservative, whatever the case may be. Now, with that being said, what oftentimes happens, it seems as if black people vote on the lesser of two evils, for one, and then also if we vote based on a person's character. And I think that we did that with Obama. Now, when you look at statistics, and you can go and Google and research this yourself, but based on the statistics, more black people was murdered by police officers, by race soldiers posing as police officers, than under any other presidency. And I'm not speaking my opinion here, family. I'm speaking facts. Like I said, you can go and do the research yourself. Okay, the same research I've done, you can do it yourself. Now, we have 45 blacks being shot. We're still looking for justice for our sister, for Breonna Taylor, and for different other individuals. Cops have been put on camera, video recorded on camera, beating up a 14-year-old little girl because white parents called because this child was in the pool and they didn't want their white children to be in the same pool. Within the past few years, you have these Karens and these Keiths, calling police officers on innocent bystander black individuals, hoping that that they will be taken out. You know what I'm saying? So this has been going on. Michelle Alexander, she's written a book. It's called the Jim Crow 2.0. You can go and read her book. And the school to prison pipeline. These are things, even the 94 crime bill that Biden wrote and pushed to get passed, locking up thousands of black men, destroying the black family. But yet this is who individuals voted for. But because Biden is not a blatant racist, then they're like, okay, well, let's just get him in office. We'll figure out what we're going to do next. We've been working backwards, family. Black people have been working backwards, and this is why we're in the same position. Now, a couple of days ago, we saw a mob attack the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Now, we know, I spoke on this on a previous episode, as far as the differences. When it comes to black individuals and whatever BLM's agenda is, because I don't believe that it is for foundational black Americans. I believe that they have a different agenda that doesn't concern us. It's my conjecture. Now, if you can prove me wrong, prove me wrong. I'm always up for the challenge, family. Now, we know that riot police showed up during the protest, peaceful protest, and shot. And we know that it has been proven that agent provocateurs were embedded into that crowd to incite a riot. And so we have our militia police come in riot gear, full riot gear, shooting rubber bullets, as well as shooting tear gas, antagonizing the peaceful protesters, keyword peaceful. Now, what happened a couple days ago, okay, you know, it's a shame that there were a few individuals that passed. I've seen posts, and I completely agree. What's going on with white mommy and white daddy, that is not the black person's plight. It's not our fight. We have our own issues to deal with. We have our own agenda that we need to get dealt with. And we have some things that is owed to us. We're not begging for anything. These are things that is owed to us. Reparations is owed to us. And we see that what white supremacy has done, they've taken people from the Boule, from the Divine Nine, and they've propped them up. And some of them are non-foundational Black Americans, and they've propped them up as to be the spokesperson for Black America. But here you have Minister Louis Farrakhan, who have been preaching do for self and teaching Black people how to do for self, and yet they won't call him. They won't call Dr. Boyce Watkins, who has been teaching Black economics for years. They won't call up the brother Tariq Nasheed. And regardless of how you feel about these individuals personally, their plight is specifically for foundational Black Americans and the Black family as a collective. Whatever your personal opinion is, let's sit the emotions aside, family. Let's talk for real. Let's have real conversation and real dialogue, because we see that the left and the right wing continues to pander for the Black vote without giving us any tangibles. We are owed land. We are owed resources. And for those, I personally don't give a fuck about white people speaking out against the debacle of what happens to white people if they're not standing up in front of these bullets and they refuse to charge their predecessors and their ancestors to give us the tangibles that is so rightfully deserved for us. So I don't care about how you feel. I don't care about what you think. If you're not trying, or if you're not in the process of passing down what was supposed to be given to our ancestors that have accumulated to trillions of dollars, and we see that both stimulus packages that the government passed, they're creating the dollars out of somewhere. So can't no politician tell me, after, especially after what has already happened, and then even Biden now is talking about creating another stimulus package to make up the 2,000 that they were speaking of trying to give to the American people. So, like I said, as always have questions, and these questions might pierce you, but that's not my problem. I mean, it just is what it is. And so, the first question that I posed to the family, the storming of the Capitol, is this not another proof of white privilege? Is this not an additional proof of white privilege? This is domestic terrorism. And white supremacy has allowed these terrorist acts to continue without anyone being charged, anyone being sentenced. We have these race soldiers getting off for killing Black men, Black women, and Black children and they continue to get off. But for those of y'all, you know what? Oh, it'll change. All we got to do is vote. Then, really? Like for real, family? Like for real? Really? Because we've been voting since the civil rights. What exactly has changed for us? We're still getting shot down in the streets, unarmed. We're still making hashtags, hands up, don't shoot. Justice for this person, justice for that person. We're still making hashtags. And so, what is it going to take? And what is it going to take for us to get that which we already deserve? Like, this is things that we deserve. But they allow domestic terrorists to terrorize Black American citizens. So, you know, we're going to start there. And then, you know, the next question is a two-part question, family. And I asked the family, are Black people mad about how we're being treated? Or are we mad that white people don't love us yet? Boom. Let me repeat that again. Are Black people mad about the way we're being treated? Or are we mad that white people don't love us yet? And I've heard mixed arguments. I've heard mixed responses. I've had people tell me, well, we know that white people don't love us. But I'm like, but if that be the case, then why are you still pandering to white mommy and white daddy? Like, why are you allowing suspected white supremacists at your job, your co-workers, your quote unquote friends, disrespect you and continually be habitual line steppers? Why do you allow it to continue? I've said it on the show before. When these white supremacists that are posing as police officers, when they kill unarmed Black people, where are the gang members? Because it seems too often that Black people are real tough when it comes to other Black people. But when it comes to white folk, it seems that we quickly bow down. We bow down quick. We have no problem submitting to white mommy and white daddy. Because what? We're scared that it's going to affect our paycheck. Okay, fine. Based on the skills that you've obtained over the years, start your own business. What are you waiting for? Because we continually get disrespected. But then when it comes to the Black man or Black woman, we're antagonists. We become the aggressors. And it's almost like we're ready to fight one another on sight. But I don't see most Black people have that same smoke for white mommy and white daddy. And for those who know me personally, at my previous place of employment, I gave them that smoke. I didn't care. You wasn't crossing boundaries with me. You wasn't going to sit up here and say some undermining bullshit, racist bullshit, and not expect me to come back at you. And like I said, those who know me personally, I did it with a smile on my face. I did it with an absolute smile on my face. Because at the end of the day, too many of us associate ourselves with our sexuality, with our religious beliefs, with our ideologies, with our political parties, instead of our culture. We don't identify with our culture first. We identify with everything else as if that is a badge of honor. The middle passage that some of my ancestors went through, survived, came over here, was just tremendously abused under the hands of white folk. They survived that. They go through slavery. They deal with the black codes. They deal with Jim Crow. And then now we're still dealing with systematic racism. We're still dealing with systematic racism, family. But yet, we still want white folk to love us. And I tell everybody, if you've watched the show, you know that I don't hate any other culture or ethnic group. I just love my people more. And if you feel some type of way about me loving black people more, then you are the problem. You are the problem. Because see, I've seen on IG, I've seen on Facebook, I've seen on Twitter, where you have people, you have religious folk asking the question, where are the white evangelicals? Where are the white evangelicals? And I'm going to tell you where they are, exactly where they're supposed to be. Because you know why? Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism is not their religion. White supremacy is. That's why they haven't come out and spoken against this debauchery. Because white supremacy is their religion. And if you don't believe me, when you go to church or to your place of worship, look and see how segregated it is. If you go into a predominantly white church or place of worship, look how they look at you with a sense of disgust. If you don't believe me, Sunday is the most segregated day of the week. White supremacy is their religion. It's not Christianity. Because the same domestic terrorists that stormed the Capitol building, they are some of your pastors. They are some of your deacons and deaconesses. They are on your usher board. They are the bank managers. They are some of your managers at your place of employment. Some of these race soldiers that have been deputized to kill black people or to assist in the killing of black people, these are your friends. These are your friends, family. These are the ones that when black issues arise, instead of asking questions to become better informed or more aware, these are your friends that make jokes, that make side-eyed comments. 45 got into office after it was alleged that he's grabbing women's yoni, that he's grabbing their breasts, that he's grabbing their asses, and he still got into office. The same women that had accused him of these things, he got into office. Now, that lets you know the state of the country. Now, I personally don't think that that our votes don't even matter. I personally believe that it is just, just theater. It's just theater. So, I mean, the people that actually run this country, you know them not. The people that they place in front of you are the ones that they want you to see. We know that the media is controlled. So the individuals that think that just because they watch MSNBC all night, or they watch Fox News all night, or other news outlets all night, that they know what's going on. The powers that be, when I was in the military, when I was going through boot camp and AIT training, the only information that we as foot soldiers got was the information that was needed to know. But the real agendas was by the higher ups. They were by the higher ups. So when you ask certain questions, it was that the response was it's on a need to know basis. So controlled media is propaganda. Propaganda is to get specific responses from the masses, from the population, from the populace, which the etymology of the populace just means the dumb masses. This is not my opinion, family. Go and look up the etymology word and the definition of population. They're calling us the dumb masses. And yes, I get it. I understand. When you start going down the rabbit hole, the things that you're going to find, the things that is going to be uncovered, a lot of it is going to hurt. Because you will finally realize that you have been lied to. You have been bamboozled. You have been hoodwinked. So, I mean, even people know, I've spoken on it before on different broadcasts and different shows, speaking of the chaos theory. Controlled chaos. And my question is what happened a couple of days ago at the state capitol building, is that a test run for something? Because when you look at the videos, the Capitol Police ushered those groups in. They allowed them to come in. I've seen videos where 45 and his wife, along with other politicians, being in the room, and, they're talking and discussing and laughing and joking while watching the debacle. See, and I wish death upon no one. You should have treated them the same way you treat us. That's equal justice. See, and I believe in Malcolm's principle by any means necessary. Because a lot of us have children and lineage coming up behind us. So for us to sit down and lay down, and a lot of our elders, I get it. I understand. You fought. You're tired. But you have an energized generation up under you. The art of war give us strategy. But it seems that a lot of our elders are scared. A lot of our elders taught us growing up, just be happy with your plot in life and, don't cause any waves. Just go to work and collect a paycheck. and just go home and just be happy. Where has that gotten us? We're still in the same boat. If other ethnic groups can attack us, can kill us with no repercussions. So that's why I go back to the question, are we mad at how we're being treated? Or are we really mad that white folks don't love us yet? I ask that question all the time. And for most black people, and the powers that be know this because they study us. They study us. They know that a lot of us just want white mommy and daddy to love us. So we're willing to bend the knee for table scraps. And this lift all act that Kamala keeps pushing doesn't do anything for black people. Now it came out of her mouth that she's not going to do anything specifically for black people. But these are the individuals that you voted for. The 94 crime bill Biden, and what she called herself, she said that she was the top cop. So 94 crime bill Biden and top cop Kamala Harris. These are the people that a lot of us voted for. Because a lot of us is waking up and we see what's happening behind the closed door. And when in conversation, I tell people all the time, all I want people to do, give black people what is rightfully ours and leave us the fuck alone. But I know based on history, that threatens white society. White society loves to hate us. They need us for the working class, but they don't want us to be here. They don't want us here. And yet we keep groveling at their feet. For what? For what, family? Like, we got to be real honest with ourselves. Do we hate ourselves that much? Do we really hate ourselves that much? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Minister Louis Farrakhan, has been teaching do for self for decades. Now, I was sent a video of Pastor Jamal Bryant, and he said the exact same thing, and he quoted it from the Black Panther Party. Black people need to do for self. The problem with that is, just like they did in Tulsa, if we don't have a military to protect our lands, our families, they're going to bomb it again. Black culture is the only culture that is not bipolar. And what I mean by bipolar, family, I mean that we're spiritual on the left hand and we're militarized with the right hand. That's how we come together. That's what unity looks like. And those who are part of the black echelon and the black leadership, the real ones that are teaching foundational black Americans and black Americans how to wake the fuck up, they've been banned from your social media. The ones of us that bring you the truth, that bring you receipts, that have what the government has labeled conspiracy theorists, because they are whistleblowers of the government and of the sect that they're in, they ban them. Minister Farrakhan is banned from social media. A couple of the other brothers in the nation are banned from certain social media platforms. But yet they allow white supremacist individuals that have proven to be in law enforcement in 2016, the United States government, the FBI, the CIA, the document is out there, family. Look it up. It says that white supremacists have infiltrated law enforcement. That's what the document said. Go and read it for yourself. So while we're still pandering to white society, instead of doing for self, while we're praying on our knees, we're being preyed upon. And see, one thing, and don't get me wrong, I'm not picking on Christianity. It's just what I was brought up in. But one of the things that I noticed with Christianity is that Christianity makes a lot of black folks real docile. It makes us real docile. But remember, the slave masters read from those same scriptures, solidifying slavery. Slaves, obey your master. That's in the Bible. They weaponize the Bible to keep you docile, because if you actually go back to your original spiritual roots, now you begin to gain power. But what they've done is that they've demonized your lineage and your heritage and gave you milk. Because if you think that your captors is going to allow you to stay in your power, you are insane. You are insane, family. And power is not asked for, it's taken. But a lot of y'all Negroes is scared to take the power that we have. Because see, in all honesty, that's all we want. We just want to be left alone. A lot of us, I won't even say most, a lot of us just want to be left alone. We just want to be left alone. We don't want to have to raise our children in fear. We don't have to steal some of our children's childhood to teach them how to keep their head on a swivel, because the same person that you may think is your friend is the same person that assists in your death. How fair is that to raise a child in that type of environment? It's unfair for us to have to teach our 8 and 9-year-old sons that when they go out in public, they're going to be looked at as grown men. That is unfair. You know, so it is what it is. But I promise you, the moment that the majority of us wake up, and it's happening now, and this is why they allowed and that they placed Biden in office and Kamala behind him. Because see, the thing is, while being on the subject of religion, the black culture is the only culture whose God don't look like them. You go into most of these black churches and they got a white picture of Desiree Borgia, which they've told you is Jesus the Christ. So in your eyes, a lot of y'all, when y'all see white mommy and white daddy, y'all look at them as God. Y'all look at them as God. And this is why y'all pander to them. This is why y'all cater to them. And because our culture has been demonized in every way, form, and fashion, when we see each other, we can't see the God within one another. This is why we treat one another the way we do. This is why. So, I mean, you know, like I said, my motto is by any means necessary. I am going to protect my family. And if you come for mines, I promise you, I'm not asking my God for forgiveness for you. I'm asking my God to give me the strength to go to war, and that he forgives me for what I'm about to do. We've been beaten, we've been bruised, we've been exiled, and a lot of us can't wait to just get back to the feet of these white supremacist Mongols. .45 has been banned from social media. That's not going to stop him from spewing his rhetoric, because y'all knew what he was about and y'all did nothing. So it lets me know that you condone this type of behavior. You condone it. So like I told some of my family members and loved ones, in 4 years, we're going to be right where we are if we don't do something and if we don't come together. We're going to be right back in the same position. Politicians is going to be pandering to the black vote. And if you pay attention to history, they go to the black churches first. They go to the black churches first, which they've always done. When Margaret Sanger came up, took the eugenics movement and pushed it forward, they went to the black churches first. If y'all don't see a pattern, then y'all stupid. And I'm not talking about the ones who have not gone through an awakening yet. I'm speaking to the ones who sit up here and you see it, and because you don't want to make any waves, you just say, it's okay. But you're the same ones that when something happens to your family member, you crawling back to the black community talking about, we need justice, we need justice. Y'all the same mofos, man. That shit make me laugh. That's hilarious. Like I said, man, I don't hate any ethnic group. I don't hate any culture. I just love my people more. I just love my people more. I want to see my people succeed. That's just me. You know, and it seems like instead of asking for tangibles, a lot of black people are just happy with moral victories. Because, I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Like I said earlier, now that Biden and Kamala is getting, They're getting ready to be sworn in on the 20th. Now that they're about to be sworn in, what has it changed for us? What has changed for us? Huh? What has changed for Black America? Now that Biden and Kamala is the presidential and VP elects. Ain't shit changed. Well, you got to give them some time. The Democrats and Republicans have had time. But all they keep talking about is prison reform. How many of your family members are actually criminals? Are you a criminal? But yet they keep pushing this rhetoric of prison reform. I'm not a criminal. So what is that going to do for me and my lineage? What, just give cops more militarized weapons? Because that's what police and prison reform does. It gives cops more weapons to disproportionately target us. Ain't nobody else really getting targeted, family. They targeting us. Laws and legislation being passed, studies have shown that it disproportionately targets Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. It targets us. If you go into the grocery stores in our communities, we have the worst selection of food. When you look at statistics and the percentages, we have the highest medical issues. We do. But what do? They feed us medication that may fix a headache, but cause 20 other issues. Our ancestors and our parents and our grandparents have the medical issues that they do, family, because of the food that they ate, the water that they drank, slave ate chitlins and high fattening foods. Then we wonder why our blood pressure is high, wonder why we have sugar diabetes at a higher rate than any other ethnic group. We have more fast foods in the Black community than we do grocery stores with fresh produce. Yes, the stress that we're under. You know, and so not hearing me. Let's see what this do. What's the problem? Hold on, family. Just bear with me for a moment. I'll look at something. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. No, that's not. Okay. All right, figure it out. Let me know if you can hear me on the live feed. Just be a couple more minutes anyway. Need to check all that in the beginning anyway. I'm slipping. Okay. All right. Well, we can continue. Let's see. Is that plugged in? All right. No. Okay. All right. Well. Dang. I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. It's the first one, so we're gonna continue. All right, so like I said, family, a lot of the problem is that when it comes to the black community, we get the worst healthcare system that's in place. We get the worst food. Then they bombard us with a bunch of fast food restaurants. Where I used to live at, there was literally 8 fast food restaurants within a half a mile radius. A half a mile radius. So, I mean, that says a lot. And there wasn't one grocery store. One grocery store was not in that half a mile radius. See, we oftentimes think that it's one thing that is killing us. But, and I understand that we're not chemists, we're not chemical engineers. But this is why I always encourage the family to do your research. Go and do your research. And I know a lot of you don't want to or have the desire to because you're afraid of what you might find. And you're afraid that you would actually have to change your lifestyle to be healthier, to be stronger, to live longer. But most of y'all would rather just pray than actually change for the better. And I mean, if that's your choice, fine. Because what you eat don't make me sick. So I'm cool. I'm cool on that. So that's my time for this evening, family. Now I gotta go back and see what was going on with the live feed. But tonight's topic: what tangibles have blacks gotten for our vote? Because it seems as if when white mommy and white daddy solicit our vote, man, niggas go running. Oh my God, they asked me to do something. Oh my God. And then we sit up here and we demonize one another. Oh, you better vote for this person. You better vote for that person. No, if you vote for this person, come on, man. Like, for real, for real? Whoever is sitting in that seat, it doesn't matter. Not for us. Because you have some people who have argued if Obama was black, if he was versus foundational Black American. We know that his mother and his father is not foundational Black American. We know that Kamala Harris is not foundational Black American. She identifies with her Indian heritage. But because of the shade of their skin, it's a moral victory. It's a moral victory. So I know a lot of people don't like that, and that's fine. If y'all don't, I know a lot of y'all don't know me by now, but I don't care. I really don't. And like I said, are blacks only happy with moral victories? Where are the white evangelicals, or is white supremacy the true religion? Are blacks mad at how we're being treated, or that white people don't love us yet? You ask yourself them questions. Whatever answers you have for those particular questions, that's your own conviction. That's your own conviction. My thing is, a lot of black people, more oftentimes than not, as I said earlier, they identify more with their religion. They identify more with their sexuality. They identify more with their belief systems and their ideologies. But if we really have the black community's interest at heart, shouldn't that be our common goal? Why aren't more Christians and black ministers and black pastors working with the Nation of Islam leaders and ministers and elders and teachers? If the black community is truly the agenda, why aren't y'all working together? Why are y'all more concerned with who you can bring into the church versus actually building something for the black community? And I'm not talking about specific individuals. I'm speaking as far as a collective. As a collective, where are the Christian leaders and ministers that are working side by side with the Nation of Islam's ministers, elders, and teachers? And then where are the Nation of Islam's ministers, leaders, and teachers working with Christian pastors and ministers? Or do you identify more with your religion? And you got to understand, when it comes to the general census and the general populace, white folks, their whiteness comes first. Not their religion, not their belief systems, because at the end of the day, they are going to do what is best for white people. Not for any other culture, but what is best for them. So this Lift All Act, my personal opinion, is bullshit. From what I read of it, it's bullshit. We need to be pressuring these politicians, these heads of states, for tangibles for foundational black Americans, for the original originals of this land. Because we were here, our ancestors was here before slavery. Slavery is not where and when we started. We was here thousands of years before that. If you don't believe me, go and look up the history and do your own research. But that's where I stand until next Friday. I'm going to get this live together so it can run smoothly, more smoothly. And I'm going to come back at you next Friday, family. For those who stopped in this evening, for those who will stop in this evening, I appreciate you. I love you. And I'm come back with more information, more topic, another topic for you next Friday, and we're gonna have another conversation. For those who follow me over on Facebook, I do a live show over on Facebook Live every Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock. Yeah, I had to remember. Ooh, what time? Between 8 o'clock and 8:30, I usually come on live. I try to do 8 o'clock. But between 8 o'clock and 8:30, I do a live over on Facebook. I ask questions as well. Over there, we have more relationship topics, and we deal with current events on Tuesday evenings. And then, on Friday evenings, whatever the family inbox me, whatever the, information, I get videos all the time, information that the family send me. So we'll be discussing that. So, you can find me anywhere. As you can see, you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on IG. You can find me over on Facebook at Marcus Dowdell Sr. But like I said, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for stopping in for this candid conversation. Until Tuesday, deuces.